welcome back to my channel. And today we will be talking about the Nickelodeon movie Lemony Snicket's The Series of Unfortunate Events. Now Lemony Snicket's The Series of Unfortunate Events starts off with the Elf movie. Then it pauses. Then the narrator says, "I'm sorry, but this isn't the movie that you will be watching today. The movie that you will be watching has mystery, orphans, and a mysterious fire." So it starts off with the Baudelaire children, Klaus, who loves to read, Violet, who is an inventor, and Sunny, who loves to bite things, but she's only a baby. So they are at they are at Bernie Beach, enjoying the weather and enjoying their day at the beach, when Mr. Poe, the family banker, comes to them and tells them, "Children, I'm afraid I have sad news. Your parents have mysteriously died in a mysterious fire." So they go to their house to see what they have left, and they can see that everything is destroyed. But not everything is destroyed, and I will come back to that later. So, the first relative that Count Olaf takes them to, the first relative that Mr. Poe takes him to is Count Olaf. Now let me explain what's going on. Klaus and Violet and Sunny's parents are dead because they're all siblings. So their parents are dead. So when Violet turns 18, she will get the Baudelaire fortune and she can split it between the three of them. But for now, Mr. Poe has the money. So whoever adopts them gets the money to spend on themselves or the Baudelaire children. So keep this in mind as the story goes on, because it will come back. It will come back later in the story. So just keep what I said in mind. Okay, so they meet Count Olaf. Count Olaf gives them the tour of the house. And the next day, they are cleaning so Count Olaf's theater troupe can rehearse at the house later. So it is time for the Baudelaires to cook dinner. Oh, and I forgot to mention, their next door neighbor is Mrs. Strauss, and they actually thought that Count Olaf and her were married and that they will be staying in that house. But no, she said that Count Olaf was her neighbor and that he lives next door. But if you kids ever need anything, I'm right next door. And I really like Justice Strauss as a character. I just really wish they would have done more with Justice Strauss like they did in the book. But the book, I will discuss with you guys another time. they cook the pasta, so they cook pasta funesca for the theater troupe, and then Count Olaf asks, where is the roast beef? And then Violet says, you didn't ask for roast beef. And then, shocked by this, Count Olaf actually hits Klaus. And then Violet tells Count Olaf that we will be telling Mr. Poe about this right now. And so he tells them to get upstairs, and then he closes the door. But before he does that, he says that he is very disappointed in the children. And then Klaus is sad. Poor Klaus is sad, and Violet assures him that their parents did have a plan for them. And Violet reminds Klaus about that time that the letter that their parents were sending to them got lost in the mail. But Klaus points out that this is different because this time they won't be coming back. So Violet pulls up her hair like she does. She puts her hair in a ponytail every time she gets ready to invent something. So she put her hair into a ponytail, and they build a sanctuary, a tent, with their parents' locket hovering over them as a shadow. So they build a little sanctuary. So for right now, they can drown out Count Olaf and just focus on being together as a family. So it turns out that the next day, the custody is granted to Count Olaf. So he actually goes on the train tracks, and he leaves the kids there while he is in the store getting soda and chips and relaxing. So he leaves the kids there, and all of a sudden the train is coming for the car, and Count Olaf took the keys. But no wonders, my friend, because Violet put her hair up, and since Klaus read about trains, they decided to build an anchor so they can lure the car away from the train. So the three Baudelaire children do it, and they do it successfully. They build an anchor to lure the car away from the train, and when it's all done, Violet tried to call Mr. Poe earlier, but he could not hear her. But Mr. Poe was right behind them, and he saw the entire thing, and he saw Sonny in the driver's seat. So he knew that they were not safe with Count Olaf. So he no longer has custody, and Mr. Poe has custody again, so he takes the children to their next relative, who I thought, in my opinion, who should have been their legal guardian, but I'm sorry. I just really like Uncle Monty. So they go to Uncle Monty, and Uncle Monty is packing for them to go to Peru, and it seems like the Baudelaire children has finally found a home. But then Count Olaf in disguises himself as Uncle Monty's partner, but Uncle Monty, being as smart as he is, knows that that's not his partner that used to help him with the snakes before. So he is just leading him on. Oh, and it was smart Violet and Klaus and Sunny who gave him the message that that is not Stefan, um, Stefan, the person who helps you with the snakes. That is Count Olaf. And he knows that, so I think what he was trying to do was lower him into a trap. So he says, "Don't worry, children. I will not let anything happen to you. I got your back." But the next day, when they were supposed to go to Peru, Count Olaf poisoned him with another poisoned snake, and he ended up passing away in his sleep. And I just really wanted them to be with their Uncle Monty, because Uncle Monty was the best. And we even learned that Uncle Monty had a family, but because of the fire that took Violet and Klaus and Sunny's parents, he lost his family too. And he even told the children, "Having you guys here just made my family even bigger, because now we are family." And I just really wanted Uncle Monty to be their relatives. Uncle Monty to be their relative. Uncle Monty, you're the best, and you will not be forgotten by me, my friend. You will not be forgotten by me. So, after Uncle Monty goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, it was Sunny who proved that the deadly viper wouldn't harm her, because the deadly viper, the snake that we got introduced to when we went to Uncle Monty's house in the movie, is the most kind and gentle snake of all. So it wouldn't hurt Sunny. So Sunny proved that by walking up to it, and then the police found out, and Mr. Poe found out once again that Count Olaf has been following them. And so Count Olaf went to jail. For now, I guess. And the Baudelaire children are off to their Aunt Josephine. Now, their Aunt Josephine has them, and she makes them cucumber soup, and they learn that she used to be adventurous back in the day. Oh, and we learn that back in the day, there used to be this secret organization that used to investigate fires. And they have been investigating fires ever since. So, it was Aunt Josephine, Uncle Monty, and their parents who were the leaders of the organizations that has that telescope that Klaus saw in his father's office. And there is more to the story, and the story is more fleshed out in the Lemony Snicket's Unfortunate Events show. So, it is here at Aunt Josephine's house when Aunt Josephine has been kidnapped by Count Olaf. And we have to remember that Aunt Josephine is very precise about grammar. So, Count Olaf, dressed as Count and Sham, actually they're out on a date. So, the kids go grocery shopping so they can all have dinner together with Captain Sham and their Aunt Josephine, and Captain Sham, who was actually Count Olaf in disguise, kidnaps Aunt Josephine. So when they get back, they discover the note, and then Klaus finds out that the note is a code for Code Cave is the place that Count Olaf has her hiding, and where he abandoned her so he could go back to the children and become their legal guardian once again and have the Baudelaire fortune once again. Oh, did I mention that the kids used to live in a mansion? Did I mention that? Well, I'm mentioning it now. I'm mentioning it. So, it turns out that everything that Aunt Josephine told them about not touching the door and not going by the fridge or it will crush you flat was true, because when she got kidnapped, the winds picked up and the house was destroyed. But Violet found out a way to tip the house so they will land on the ground and the house can just go tumbling down, but they will be safe. So, after they got down and they saw the house tumble, they went sailing with Klaus navigating them through the river, because he's read every book in that library that they used to have back home. And he has read books on sailing. So they sailed to the cave to get Aunt Josephine. And then when they get to Aunt Josephine and they are sailing back, Count Olaf finds them, and poor Aunt Josephine, he scares her to death, and he says, "Give me the children, or I will feed you to the leeches." because there are leeches in the water. So she gives Count Olaf the children, and she says, you can have the fortune and you can have the children. And then, since he used the wrong grammar, he actually threw on Josephine into the water. And the kids did try to save her, but Count Olaf stopped them. And then Mr. Poe and the detective from earlier in the movie, they show up. And then Mr. Poe says, again, Count Olaf, maybe I was wrong. You can have custody of the children if you care about them that much. Because Count Olaf tried to do this fake I'll save you Klaus thing when he took Klaus and he dipped him in the water, and then he acted like he was saving him when he really wasn't. And then, so now Count Olaf has custody again, but what he does in the last scene, it gives me the chills. Okay. Remember when I said, when Violet turns 18, they will have custody of the fortune? Well, Count Olaf is their legal guardian now. So, he found this book by marriage. If she gets married to someone, that means they can have the fortune together. So, remember when Count Olaf brought his theater group? Well, the name of his play is called The Count in the Wonderful Marriage, or something in the marriage. And Violet is playing the bride. And be aware that this is the play, and that Justice Strauss will be playing the fake judge, but she doesn't know that she will be reading fake vowels. So, if they don't do this, Count Olaf will feed Sunny to the sharks, because he has Sunny up in the tower, and he has his friends watching over Sunny. So in case anything goes wrong with the play, Count Olaf can just say, let the sister go, and poor Sunny can be eaten. So Violet agrees to do it, but Klaus, he actually saves Sunny. And he actually finds out that the fire that took their house away and actually killed their parents was an accident. But he does actually free Sunny. And with Klaus working with the and with Klaus actually working with the light, when everyone finds out the truth, everyone is just scared to death. They are just shocked that Count Olaf did this. That he made a play, but he married Violet in real life for the Baudelaire fortune. And Mr. Poe was there in the audience, and Mr. Poe said, that he would not let Count Olaf get away with this, but Count Olaf said, I already have. And then Klaus, being the smart guy that he is, he uses the light to actually burn the marriage certificate. So Count Olaf and Violet were never actually married, and they go, and at the end of the movie, they go back with Mr. Poe, and Count Olaf gets what he deserves. So everything that he did to the children is done to him, and he has to find a way to escape every obstacle that he put the children through. And then, before he takes them on their next journey, Mr. Poe stops by the house, and and they actually found they actually find the letter that was never mailed from their parents. And the letter says, "At times the world may seem like unfortunate events, but just remember this, my dears. As long as you guys are together, you guys are a family. And just remember that your father and I love you." And at the end of the movie, it turned out that Klaus's father wanted to give him and Violet the two magnifying glasses that him and his mother had when they were a part of the organization that was investigating the fires. And at the end of the movie, they drive off into the sunset with Mr. Poe to their next adventure. And that is the end of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. Bye, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Oh, and if you notice the balloons behind me, that's because yesterday was my 29th birthday. Bye. See you guys in my next video. Bye.